What's good, everybody? It's Big Game James, man. We back in the building, the Big Star Show. We took a little hiatus. You know, it's life. Life happens. Those things do happen. But the good thing, like we said, we love about being independent. We can do that and come back and ain't nobody got to say nothing. You know what I'm saying? So we're back in the building, man. We missed a couple weeks, a couple interesting weeks, especially last week. You know, it's going down. There's been a lot of crazy talk right now in Cowboys land after that shellacking that the Cowboys got. Obviously, we got the Chargers, the Kellen Bowl, getting ready to come up. But before we jump all into that, how you doing today, Star?
I'm doing great, Big. Well, as great as we can be after what happened on Sunday, but doing better. Glad to see everybody tonight in the chat. Like Big said, we took our hiatus, but we back. You know, like we never left. Sorry, like Rome says. So, just glad to have everybody in the chat tonight. Be sure to like the video, please. Share and subscribe to both of our YouTube channels. Oh yeah, here's all the chat flowing in. Glad to see you guys. Super excited to be here tonight and talk about Dallas Cowboys football.
Yeah, so obviously we know what went on with the San Francisco 49ers. It was, to me, was the big test, and we got smacked in the mouth, left a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't actually get to hear you talk about it. Obviously it is over, but I just like to get I saw your thoughts on Twitter, but I just like to get your quick thoughts on it. As a whole, just the whole as a whole, how do you feel about that?
As a whole, it was something, very difficult when it first happened to swallow, because since I've been a fan and actually been watching the team, I've never seen us get blown out like that. And then not on top of getting blown out, but you're getting blown out by your arch enemy, your arch nemesis. So that was something that, I don't know, I was just shocked, taken aback. Definitely had a meltdown on Twitter. Very just angry. Didn't understand what the hell was that. If there's any game that I thought that we was going to win, it was that 49ers game. I know many people did not believe before the season, but I was like, there's just no way we about to lose to this team 3 times in a row. It's no way. The coaches are prepared. We got the coaches, the players, everything. We should be ready to go. And then, when you see the game plan that was rolled out, I'm not going to lie, looked like Mike just called up Kellen Moore and said, hey, what did we do last year? Let's just do that. And thus, our offense looked terrible. That was the first time I've ever seen Dak Prescott have a meltdown. I've never seen Dak have a meltdown like that. I know many quarterbacks, they do that where they just F it. But Dak started just effing it, I called him Carson Wentz. I say he looked very Carson Wentz, just throwing up YOLO balls. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. I said it was the worst game of Dak's career. And I mean, I stand by that. Of course, there were things later coming out, watching the film, like, what was this scheme? But still, I mean, there was plays to be made that Dak missed. And also, I think this West Coast offense is really speeding his clock up, not really seeing the field, kind of making Dak a 1 or 2 read quarterback. It's just, I think ultimately what I think is offensively, they got to go back to the drawing board and defensively as well, because I believe when we came into the season, we thought, okay, our strength is our defense, right? Okay, but then we lost Trayvon Diggs, right, which put a blow to our defense. And then now our safeties, which we were all saying before the season started, our safeties were the best safety group in the league. But now our safeties aren't playing well. From really Dono and Curse not playing well. I don't really know how else to say it. I don't know if Dono's still just recovering from the injury. With Curse, I don't know what his problem is, but he's just not looking good. Bad angles, not tackling. I mean, it's just bad all around. So I think we really got to go to the drawing board and figure back out, who are we now and what can we do successfully? instead of thinking that we're going to be this dominant defensive team that's, choking the life out of each opponent. It's like, yeah, we can do that against, teams that their quarterback is so, scheme is so, but obviously we face the team that we have to be if we ever want to reach the Super Bowl again, and it's not up to par. Same thing with Dan Quinn. I got on Dan Quinn's head. I think Dan Quinn needs all the stunting and these NASCAR packages and all this stuff he's got rolling. I think it's time to kind of hang some of it up. I'm not saying eliminate it, but some of the stuff he needs to rethink as well, because we got to go way back and we got to start emphasizing details like they said that they emphasize the whole off season, because we're not seeing details at all on the field. We ain't seeing discipline either. So I think ultimately after this, hopefully they start building upon what they're going to change in this Chargers game, and then once we get to the bye week, they really do some hard thinking, and get this back on track, because we got to score points.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you on a lot of pretty much everything you said. But this is what I want to ask you, and because I heard this, Mike McCarthy, when they were asking about the offense, he said he felt like the offense is going in the right direction. I mean, we scored 30 points against the Jets. We scored 40. I know it wasn't all offense against the Giants. Against the Patriots, 38.
Mhm.
We were attacking them. But it seems that when there's a team that kind of knows what we're doing, we get our butts kicked. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we're predictable. If teams can figure us out that easily, it's very predictable.
Yeah.
But when I heard Mike, he said, you know, we want to keep turnovers low.
Yep.
We want to keep our defense. Our strength of our team is our defense. So we
Yep.
want to make it easy. But what I heard him say is we want to make it as easy as for our defense as possible.
Mhm.
Um, my thought is, okay, so is that what we're talking about when we're seeing the long drawn out drives when they're 9, 10,
Yeah.
11 play drives?
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying about the eternal clock. It looks like it's quicker because when I watched Dak in this last game, there were reads there, and it was looked like he was just trying to get the ball out quick. 1, 2,
Yep.
bam.
Just
But if he would
it
have
wasn't
just
turning, just
right,
literally locked in.
like he locked in on his first read and
Yep.
stayed on the read, and
Yep.
it was almost like there's other reads for you to hit, and there are other reads there if you just hold it just a little bit longer. Because I've seen a few plays, and he had a little bit of time, if he had
Yep.
a little bit longer, the play came open and you had
Yep.
guys open. And I don't see him wanting to pull the trigger either. I see him once again, and I'm not making this a bash act, but I'm just telling you this is what I see, along with the
Yeah.
play calling, because the play calling was not helping him at all.
Yeah.
But one thing I start seeing him feeling like he's getting gun shy again, where he don't want to make the mistake, he
Yep.
don't want to mess up. So I'm gonna wait and hold it and go with the safer play. And now I feel like that's taken away from the offense because he's starting to play safe again and have that interception thing in the back of his mind. And that's what I kind of see from Dak Prescott right now.
Yep. I don't think I couldn't agree more with exactly what you said. This I think the interception narrative that swirled that got to front office. From front office it got to Mike. And from Mike it's now flowed down to that. And if we look at it, everybody looked at it. All we needed to really do was eliminate the option routes. You didn't have to dumb Dak down or say, and I understand. I like some of the, West Coast principles. Like you can do three-step drops and stuff like that if you want to do some plays that's looking like, Joe Montana. But I think ultimately you gotta allow Dak to be who he is. Like I feel like the system what they're trying to do with Dak, like you said, is him only reading this side of it. You don't need to do that with him. Now, no offense, like a guy like Jalen Hurts, no offense to Jalen Hurts, he was in the Super Bowl, but that's the type of quarterback he is. That's what he needs. But he thrives in that, and that's okay. They also have RPO style that fits that more so. You're only doing 1 or 2 reads. If you don't see it, just take off. But like that's not really our quarterback. Our quarterback has evolved. He's developed as a passer. So he can, if you give him time, which he had, like you said, a lot of clean pockets. Now, it wasn't not like the offensive line just played like all world, nothing like that. I saw Terrence Steele, even Zach Martin get
Right.
beat a couple of reps. But there were times that we had clean pockets. And if you had allowed your quarterback, instead of just having him just focus literally one read, I've never seen Dak just lock in to one guy just looking the whole time. And then you're playing an elite defense like Fred Warner. He's looking directly at your eyes. Like that's why everything just looked like it was just completely covered. And then I had saw a chart today where Dallas Cowboys, when it comes to offensive perfectly covered face percent, like we're pretty high. Like teams really know. And I said this. I said every defensive coordinator a defensive coordinator in the league knows what Dallas is going to run. It's all about, do I have the personnel to stop it? Yes or no.
Okay, but let me ask you this, Star, after you say that. Because the Niners, here's the thing. So here's the key factor to me is Fred Warner and them said that against Kellen Moore. They said, we know what you're doing.
Yep.
That's why we shut you down. Now you got Mike McCarthy, and they're saying, we know what you're doing. That's why we shut you down. So you got two guys that one people saying that Kellen Moore, we missing Kellen Moore, but they said the same thing about Kellen Moore. The Niners said the same thing about Kellen Moore. We know what you're doing. We know exactly what you're doing, and we're just going to play this type of defense because we know we can shut you down because we know what you're doing. That's what they said about Kellen Moore. Then you got Mike McCarthy, and we're thinking it's going to be different, and you got Mike McCarthy, and they're saying, we know what you're doing too. So to me, the overriding factor of this is Jerry's the one that hires these people. It's frustrating because every time we play a team that's kind of good, they always know what we're doing. And I don't like that. Like how these teams, when we play them, they just can get our scheme and just figure us out. But you know what? It's just, I feel like we just ain't tough enough. We talk about tough. We talk about being tough. We talk tough. We a tough team. No, we're not. We ain't tough because every time we get smacked, we cower out. We lose. We start getting beat down, and we just don't lose. We get our butts kicked. We just didn't lose against Arizona. We got our butts kicked. We didn't lose to San Francisco. We got our butts kicked. Yep. That's the thing that I don't like. And then when I hear our supposed leadership saying, you know, one thing Micah saying, oh, well, we beat ourselves. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. We didn't beat ourselves. These teams came in there and whooped our ass. And then I see CeeDee Lamb, who's supposed to be our receiver guy, who's over there like, I don't know what kind of offense this is, and over there on the side pouting. Like I seen Dez get mad, but Dez didn't go to the whole side of the field and didn't talk to nobody. Dez stayed in that huddle, stayed on that sideline yelling at everybody. And people misconstrued it, but no, he stayed. No, come on, dog. We ain't gonna just sit here and take this. That's what I would hear Dez say. We ain't taking this. Get up, dog. Figure this out, man. We ain't gonna be doing this. We gonna win this game. And that's one of the things that I do not hear, because anytime we start getting a little bit adversity, like we talked about this right before we went live, I see guys getting quiet. I see guys getting coward. I see guys just looking at each other. And then after the game is over, then I hear all these tough guy quotes. I hear all the tough guy quotes after the ass kicking. Yeah. But I need to see it on the field when it's happening. Because I'm sorry, I'm not hating, but I'm not listening to J-Ron Curse right now. Okay? I'm not listening to you, J-Ron Curse, because you just said, Star, he don't look the same. He looks slow. He looks older and slower. Very slow. And within 1 year. Now, J-Ron Curse didn't have the greatest athletic ability already. Because he was like high 4.6s, 4.7s, like one of the reasons why he dropped in college. So he wasn't the super athletic guy. And now I feel like you're doing a lot of talking, but I don't know if that play can really back up the talking. And we got a Wanye Thomas. And I know people said it. That guy is ready.
Yep. Absolutely.
Now, are we starting to do the same thing? And this is the top again. Are we doing where we're doing pay for play again?
I was thinking initially that, and I agree with exactly what we was talking about before we got live. we don't have any emotional leaders on this team right now, because anytime we're getting, like you said, we're getting our teeth knocked in. I mean, you can go back to last year when we got beat 3 to whatever. I mean, anytime we're losing, um, you just see a lot of it's like everybody from the coaches to the play, from the assistant coaches to the players, everybody is just the players just look defeated. It's almost like there's nothing we can do. I literally at one point saw Micah screaming, like, what can I do about that? I can't do nothing about that. After the game, they asked him about the issues with the run game, and he's like, well, listen, I just play on the edge. I don't know nothing about that.
Oh, that killed me, and I said
Yeah,
that.
like I don't know nothing about that. And it's like, Micah,
You the leader.
you're
How
the
you don't know
leader.
that about that?
Are you watching film? Are you like, I don't know how you don't know nothing about what the issue is, and you should know what the issue is. And so I feel like a lot of players, like, we need somebody that can give us some type of emotional spark, because right now we don't have that. We don't have somebody that can rally us back together. Even our Hall of Famers on the offensive line, like Zach, like, you're a Hall of Famer. I mean, you got more Pro Bowls and all pros and holding penalties, bro. Like, if there's one person that can talk to all of these guys, is you. Like, no one, Zach and Tyron are for sure Hall of Famers on this team right now. So we will listen to you because we understand y'all's pedigree. But like, they don't say anything. They just look on the sideline sad. Dak, who's our leader, which we know, puts in the work. Puts in the work. No one works harder than Dak Prescott. Everybody knows that, right? But on the field, Dak, like, you can be the nice guy, but you got to have that alternative personality when you on the field. You got somebody like Patrick Mahomes has that. Tom Brady had that. Psycho Tom. Like, you got to have that ability to
You got to be an asshole. Aaron Rodgers had it.
Right, Aaron Rodgers. You got to be able to have the ability to get angry and get mad if shit is not going right. Like, Terrence Steele, you're getting your ass beat. Talk to Terrence Steele. Like,
hey, I need you to block. I need you to come on, man. Exactly. Come on, step the game up.
Exactly. Talk to CD. Like, you over here pouting like, bitch, why don't you get open? Like, talk to these guys, because these guys, like, it's a lot of complacency, a lot of complaining. Now I hear after when they talked to Brandon Cooks today, he's like, Dak's really been like, he said the nice way of like, Dak's been on the wide receivers' asses. Like, he's been going, we need this, we need y'all to do this, we need y'all to do that. But it's like, for once, Dak, like, it's good after the fact to do that as well. But on the field, we got to be able to we can't, every time we face adversity, we just fall apart. We have to be able to have somebody say, let's go, we're going to do this. We're going to win. Dak did it last year, the Texans game, when we for sure thought we was losing that game. Everybody's like, this over. Dak threw that pick. Everybody said we losing for sure. Dak went in and he said, we winning this game. So every single one, we winning this game. He went perfect. We go down. We score. Like, we need somebody to rally our guys in adversity and say, hey, guys, I know we're sucking right now. We can get it together. We're going to win this game. But I think on Sunday, like, Dak just could not, because he was caught laughing after, I think, his first or second pick. And I'm like, that's like angry laughter. You ever met somebody who, when they mad, they just start laughing? Because it's like, I think Dak in his head was like, I can't believe this shit. Like, all the preparation, all the shit we did, I'm playing like this. We can't get separation. My defense is falling apart. Like, no one expected that at all. Like, no one saw that coming. Not even the analysts. No one said Dallas was going to get blown out. No one said that. So I think it was just a shock to the whole organization. Like, you just can't believe it. You're just like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I'm not gonna get on it in this show because they'll say it's the long hanging fruit. But as I said before, man, there's always one common denominator in all this stuff that happens is Jerry, in my opinion, because he's the one that hires the coaches. Okay, he is the owner, the president, and the general manager. So he has say in everything. Yep. Every little thing he has say in. There's nothing that he does not have his say in. And I feel like it festers our team, it neuters our team, because you just talked about we don't, it's the brand, right?
Yep.
Now, I and please, people understand this because we're gonna get into the Chargers here in a second. Please, people understand this that I'm not sitting there turning on Micah or anything like that because I understand what this world is now. But
Mm-hmm.
it just seems like when you come to the Cowboys, it becomes about the brand, even for you players. It becomes about the brand too. Everybody wants to have their brand. We saw with Jalen Smith.
Yup.
We saw the brand. We seen it
Yep.
with quite a few players, and it could be a selling point that's I don't know if they use to free agents. Hey, you might not make a lot of money here, but we got we're the Dallas Cowboys. You can get commercials here. You can do
Yeah.
this. You can do that. You can get that here. I don't know those conversations, but it seems like that is in the forefront and gets in the front of what we are ultimately trying to do. And it
Mhm.
takes away our toughness, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's why you see teams just rolling through us like that, dog. Because and what's the thing we always say? Man, they tougher than us. You know what I'm saying? They
Yep.
tougher than us. We
Yep.
always hear that, Star. Anytime we play, we ain't tough enough.
Yep.
When we
We saw
had Garrett, what was the thing? We ain't tough
it
enough. Now
enough.
we got McCarthy. We ain't tough enough. There's got to be one common denominator in that. Shout out to Big Dale, Big Dallas, 8604 for 199 holler. Jerry Jones is the curse. I mean, I just feel like that thing hangs over our head and it trickles down. And I'm not hating on the free agent moves we made and all that. But it doesn't. Sometimes you can do everything you want, but when you got that cloud over your head, no
Yeah.
matter what you do,
Yep.
something will always happen.
Yep.
And it just seems like that, but I don't know. It's just frustrating because I keep on, I'm tired of seeing the same thing,
Yep.
Star. Every
Yep.
year, I'm like, this could be different. This year, I'm saying it could be different. It could be
It could be
different.
different. It could be different. And then
Eh,
it seems like it's always some shit. I put that on Twitter. I said it
It's
seemed like
always some shit.
it's always some shit. And it's like, listen, and I totally agree with you. It's like we saw it in all of our players. Like from Micah, the dog in him from Penn State. Does that seem like the same? Do you think that Penn State Micah going talking about Kittle is our guy
Right?
and
You feel
yeah,
me?
after the game, friendly, shaking hands with Christian. You the only person. There was no one else around. It's like Micah, you the leader of the defense. You supposed to be leader of the defense, and you the only person on the field exchanging jerseys. It's like if you really wanted the jersey that bad, bro, like y'all can't do that. I don't know at the locker rooms or say, hey, bro, like just send it to me in the mail. I don't know, but to be doing that on the field after you got
Taking pictures,
embarrassed. You got
taking pictures,
embarrassed.
taking pictures.
You got embarrassed, Micah. Like, what don't you get? And what signal does that show to our young guys? Like, that's the type of stuff we talking about. Hollywood, Hollywood. Micah going to parties with Jay Z and Little Baby now, and he's a celebrity. He's a celebrity now, and it's gotten to his head. But we just the softness of the players. When you go, like, you look at the toughness of Mississippi State, Dad. Like, you can tell. Look at you don't even got to go back to Mississippi State rookie year, Dak. Right? Like, there was a certain toughness and energy that was inside of our guys. And one thing I will say, like, even when we were under Scott Linehan, he gets a lot of criticism, but we were a hard nosed offensively. Now our defense, yeah, but hey, we went 13-3 that year, so we just faced the Green Bay Packers. They just had our number, right? Aaron Rodgers was our freaking boogeyman, bro. We lost that game with a field goal, but either way, it's like our players they leave that mentality that they had because that's why everybody wants them. Like, wow, these guys are dogs. Every time we get drafted, it's like, dang, look at them on the field. And then they come to the team, and it's like that same hungriness and play. It just starts waning, and it is. Y'all remember Mike talked about it. Remember when he went on with Rich Eis's show, and
Mm-hmm.
he said the big picture. There's a big picture here, and the big picture is selling tickets and jerseys, and that the players have to care about that. They have to do press. They have to. Oh, I'm doing this for charity. They have to do all of this stuff because that's what's required of the Dallas Cowboys. But I was looking to Mike, and it seemed like Mike had changed it because guess what? Last year, no teams had beat more winning teams than us. Like what we did at Tom Brady in Tampa. I'm thinking, okay, Mike has really shifted this. So now, even though we got Jerry over our heads, we still got Mike, right? Who's kind of instilled that Pittsburgh hard nosed type of attitude. But then seeing what happened, that meltdown that we had versus San Fran, I just started questioning everything because I'm like, what is this? Like, what? There's just no way. I don't understand. Things just got completely out of control, and the players just gave up. And that's not what you want to see from. You never want to see your leaders give up, and like everybody just gave up, and it's like I don't. That's not good, bro. Like that's not good. Like you facing your arch rival. You just gave
rival big time. And see, it's almost like it almost felt like y'all didn't understand this rivalry. It's like these Niners came in like F you. He pulled the jersey up. These Niners came in like F you. Debo is like, bro, it'll be worse next time we play you. You understand that? I mean, that's the way they're talking to us, dog. That's right. And when Micah sits there and says, oh man, I didn't know it was like that, kid.
I didn't know it was personal.
I didn't know it was like that, George. I mean, me and you as boys, I didn't know it was in my head, I wanted to explode. I can't lie. I'm old school. About to be 51 years old. Yeah. I'm old school with it. Maybe I'm too old school with it, but when I heard that, I'm like, what? you what? Y'all friend. Man, dog, like, okay, it's the social media in my head. My first thing in my head was like, man, this social media got things crazy because I would never hear Troy Aikman saying, man, I didn't know Steve Young was, I didn't know it was that personal. I didn't know. I wouldn't hear Michael Irvin or Emmitt Smith saying, I didn't. Oh, now he wants to make it personal. Okay. Well, laugh now, cry later. I didn't hear nowhere in hell, Star, in my opinion, when he said that, did I believe he was real with that. I'm sorry, I did not believe it. When he said laugh now, cry later, I didn't believe it. It looked like it was, you said that for your podcast.
You said like that for your podcast.
You said that for it to sound and look good for us, but I didn't have no feel of it when you said it. Because if that feel was there, it would have been there the first time when y'all played, because before they played them, he said, oh, we about to get at these dudes because we remember.
Yep.
And they came and stomped y'all.
Just
like think of the game. Think of the other two games. At least they was competitive. This was a beat down.
Like so, it's just crazy. And you were old head, but we a new head. And even me, I'm like Micah. But I said, listen, I had an issue with Micah ever since I saw last year. There was some TikTok he went on, and they asked him. They're like, do y'all actually, like the players, like is the rivalry real? Like, do y'all actually care? And
I remember
like,
that.
Oh, we don't give a fuck about that. We don't give a about that. Like no one cares about the rivalry. And I'm like, Micah, you don't care about the rivalry because everybody else knows. Like the Eagles, the 49ers, like these are historically for you. Even if it's like, yeah, bro, they might have not done something personal to you, bro. But when it comes to the history of these teams, and you can tell what the way the players are playing. Now, somebody that I'm not going to put this on everybody because there's players that say there's nobody meaner than on the field than DeMarcus Lawrence. But on top of that, like we don't have like Micah. It's got to when we're playing these types of teams. I think the players were super emotionally charged, and you can be emotionally charged, but it's like I don't know, but it just felt like the players.
It felt like it's fake energy. That's what I feel like. I feel like it's fake energy because soon as somebody smacks you on the mouth, y'all get quiet. So I don't feel like it's real energy. You know,
that's what I feel like.
And that's our problem. And all these teams, listen. You remember last year when we played the Broncos, Star? Yep. What did they do? They came in and Wink Martindale, the coach of them, came in there and said it. we don't think y'all tough enough. We're gonna come in there and run all over y'all. We're gonna be physical with y'all because we believe once we be physical with y'all, we're gonna beat y'all. That's what he was saying. That's what he was saying to his team. We don't believe it. We don't believe you. Y'all might be sticking your chest out. Y'all might be yelling it. Y'all might be yelling it in the interviews, but we don't believe you. When we get you on the field, we're gonna whoop your ass.
We're
That's
gonna show
almost
you who we are. We're gonna show you who y'all are. Like, and the
you.
thing is, they said Shanahan, DeMarcus Lawrence. I didn't even know he said that, but talk about DeMarcus Lawrence talking about we the best defense in the world, and and that's what Shanahan
And you,
told
when
the
you
team.
saying that,
It's like
yeah, when you're saying those type of things, those guys are like, yeah, all right, we about to
we're
see if
about
you
to
the best
smack
team,
y'all.
and that's why Shanahan at halftime, that's what probably motivated Shanahan because at halftime, I ain't gonna forget what he said. Oh, so what do you think? What do you think, Kyle? What's going on? Well, let me tell you what. This should be more. We mad at ourselves because we should be beating them even more than we're beating them right now at halftime. He was mad at. He said we should have. Basically, they wanted to run the score up on us, dog. They wanted to run the score up
They
on us.
wanted to embarrass us, and that's exactly what
They
they did.
came in this game to embarrass us. You feel
And
me?
we got
And
embarrassed.
we got embarrassed because they didn't believe it. They were saying to themselves, we don't believe all that fake talk y'all doing. We don't
Yep,
believe all that fake tough talk y'all doing. Wait till you
yep,
come here. We're going to smack you in the mouth. And
yep,
that's the ultimate issue. We can talk about the play calling. We can talk about this and that. But every time I see a team get physical with us and say, that's what we're going to do. That's what the Cardinals did. They said, we're going to run on you all day. That's what they said. We're going to just run on you. They didn't fake it. They said, we're going to man on man you and run on you. And that's what they did. They with Joshua Dobbs, I'm not hating on Joshua Dobbs, but really? That's what we're doing?
Joshua Dobbs.
The offensive line, the Cardinals. So let's fast forward to the Chargers right now. I'm going to get your
Okay,
key. I'm going to get your keys to the game.
okay.
Pull them up right here. Big Star keys to the game. We're gonna talk about these Chargers. They ain't tough to me, but hell, this is the Kellen Moore Bowl. This is crazy. This is the Kellen Moore Bowl, and Dallas, you
Woo.
best not lose this game. Here's
Yep.
some of the keys to the victory. Go ahead and give it to me, Star.
So number one, I said hold Allen under 100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
They have been killing it over there with Josh Allen. I mean, not Josh
Mm-hmm.
Allen. Sorry, with Keenan Allen. They
Mm-hmm.
have been spamming him. I mean, he's putting up 100-yard games. One game, he put up 250 yards. I'm like, Keenan Allen put up 250 yards? Like, what the hell is going on? So they're for sure spamming the hell out of Keenan Allen. And we better thank the Lord that Mike Williams, is out. Not that he's hurt, because I'm not glad
Mm-hmm.
that he's hurt, but I'm
Right,
just saying
right.
he wasn't putting up 100-yard games, but he's putting up 70,
And
80,
he
90
was a
yards,
threat. He was a threat.
90 yards as well. So
Yeah.
we for sure need to hold Keenan Allen. Yeah, 250. Biggie, go look. Look at one of the. I think it was the second game they played of the season. He putting up crazy numbers. I mean, and of course, we already knew when Kellen got his hands on Justin Herbert, he about to be throwing that ball all
Yeah.
across
Yep.
the field.
Yep.
And that's exactly what he's doing. Herbert's throwing 40, 48 times a game. He's throwing Herbert's arm out, but we already knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, my second key to victory is we need to have less than 5 missed tackles. And I really put this stat, one, because you're playing Austin Eckler, who is he's going to be playing, which is a very efficient, and he's almost scat backish, but he's also an every down back. Like Austin Eckler, I think for the past couple of seasons, he's like led the NFL in running back touchdowns and stuff like that. So he's definitely a weapon. You definitely want to be able to tackle him, but also you want to be able to tackle Justin Herbert, because Herbert is a tank, and he's a guy that if you don't securely tackle him, he's almost got a body shape just like Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
These are guys who are they're sneaky athletic. Now they're not Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson, but these are sneaky athletic guys. They can improvise. If you do not tackle him down, like Herbert can avoid a lot of sacks.
Mm-hmm.
So
And hit you with a big play.
exactly, he can avoid a lot of sacks. So we really got to tackle that man, tackle through the body. Those arm tackles, the rip, and that's not going to work on Justin Herbert. He's a tank. He's not going to go down with you just pulling on his jersey. Same thing like we did last year. We missed a lot of sacks and tackles on Trevor Lawrence because you can't just rip at them. So you have to literally go through their bodies if you want to get them on the ground. These are huge guys. My number 3 was we got to put up points, like serious points this game because Kellen Moore, and I put 24 because that's the lowest they've scored all year. It's 24 points. So we definitely Kellen Moore is going to prove a point. He heard Mike talking about him all offseason.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to light up the scoreboard and all of this. He heard Mike, and he wants to prove, as Kellen always does, that he can win his way. Mm-hmm. They're running the ball over there, but me and Mickey looked it up yesterday. They're not running more than like 13, 18 carries. Mm-hmm. So it's nothing crazy. Now, there was a game where Kellen, he really ran the damn ball, but after that, he hasn't.
It was like the first game.
Right. Exactly. It was the first game, but after that, so you don't got to be too worried, but you do need to be worried about the passing game. And the way our defense been giving up big plays, we have to score points.
And our secondary is real sus right now, and we're really feeling. Not to cut you off, and I apologize, but we are really feeling missing Trevin Diggs because I'm gonna tell you right now, these teams are exposing Stephon Gilmore's speed. They're exposing him with the speed. I seen it against the Cardinals with Hollywood Brown. They were putting that receiver on him. And I'm not hating on Gilly. Gilly is still a very good player, but he does not have that speed anymore. Yep. They were putting Brandon Ayuk, and Ayuk was killing him with that speed. Yeah. So that's what we're really sus right there. And you mentioned Curse and Dono are not playing good right now. I feel like, number one, they forced Dono in the lineup, and that's why I said, are we doing pay for play again in the Dallas Cowboy land? Are we doing pay for play? Because Dono just signed a big deal. Yep. Malik Hooker just signed his deal, and J-Ron Curse all signed their deals. So you have 3 safeties that all signed their deals, right? Yep. So are they going to sit in reality star? Because all 3 of them just signed their money. So they not going to sit. And Wanye Thomas don't cost as much as them. Marquise Bell don't cost as much as them. Although Marquise, you got to step up a little bit. But they don't cost as much. And so therefore, they not going to start because we didn't sign them big deals and those. And see, that's why I wonder, does the top still have the influence of putting players in the game, pay over play, because they forced Dono in because those young players were playing great, Star. They were playing great. And then it almost like the bite of the defense went out when they forced Dono back in against the Cardinals. Yep. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then you got J-Ron Curse, who's a shell of himself right now. Wanye Thomas is more athletic, younger, ready to go. But are you not going to sit J-Ron Curse because he's the emotional leader and he makes money? No, you got to put in the best players right now who's going to make your team better. And our secondary is suffering. We got Bland, but even Jay Lewis, okay. You feel me? So that one perceived strength of the secondary, I think now is a weakness.
Yep. And I agree with that 100%. And as far as, I forgot to speak on that. So as far as who I was blaming and why I think this is a Dan Quinn thing, and I know people are like, well, Dan Quinn don't really play favorites. He has to, because there's no reason to have Curse on the field over Wanye. Curse he's on his last year, his deal. He was clearly the only safety out. We know he's going to be gone next year, but yet he's continuing to play over Wanye. Which, if you want to look at play, now Dono don't look good either. But if Dono has gotten, some tackles for loss and stuff like that, I think it's still the injury. But when you talk about who is really, really, really lacking, it's Dan Quinn's guy, who's also his green dot guy. He already said it. They were like, well, who's going to get the green dot since Layton's out? He said it'll be Curse or Hooker. So I think this is what and we know it's going to be Curse before Hooker because that's how DQ does it. Like that's how he does it from Lady Vanderesh to Curse to Hooker. If Curse is out, so I really think Dan, this is a when it comes to the safety issues, I think it's a favorites issue. Now, when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
and that's on Dan Quinn because Jerry and Steven, like I said, they did not pay Curse. So I don't think they care. This is not a thing with them like Curse needs to play. No. I think this is more of a Dan Quinn thinking Curse is our emotional leader, yada, yada, yada. He's my green dot guy. I need him on the field, even though he's not playing up to standard. And that's an issue. That's why I was saying there's going to have to be some cold, hard, real look and decisions that Dan Quinn's going to have to make. Another thing that Dan Quinn is doing that I don't understand, why isn't Izzy McQuamu suiting up? Why?
Yeah, right. We
Yeah,
haven't even
he
seen
hasn't
him.
been active for the past like 2 to 3 games. You continue to have Noah Iganagwani out there. He just got here, and we saw what the 49ers did to him as soon as he went in there. We attacked him.
Attacked
Izzy
him.
McQuamu is battle tested. Izzy McQuamu played in the playoffs versus Tom Brady and then had to play the 49ers. Like, he's battle tested. We know he's ready to go. And remember, Izzy McQuamu is not, everybody thought that he was like this special plan, and he wasn't this special plan. Literally, Dan Quinn had Curse tell him the week before the playoff game, you're playing. So this is a kid that's ready and stays ready, but yet he's not even suiting up. And we know he can play special teams. So I'm like, did he piss off Al Harris? Did he do on the
But think about this though. Think about this
Yeah.
too, though. Star, think about this too. What did they do with Kelvin Joseph?
Yep.
They traded him. They
Yep.
traded for Noah. So once again, that's where I feel like they traded for that player, so he can't sit because we traded for him. So he gotta play.
my Lord.
I'm telling you, this is not just with the offense. This is not just with the defense. We saw with Leo Collins when Terrence Steele
Yep,
was playing
that's
good,
true.
and then Leo Collins got healthy. They forced Leo
They
right
sure
back
did.
in there because he
Yep.
makes the money. And I feel like they do that with all the players. Whoever's making that money, just like with Schoonmaker. We drafted him in the second round. He
really did
has to
force him,
play
yes.
no matter what he's
He
doing
has
on the
to
field,
play.
he has to play. You just had Jake Ferguson go 7 for 7 for you, get 77 yards
Yep.
and looking great. Then you go against the Niners
It's
in your
Schoonmaker.
first series, you got Schoonmaker out there. Dak threw it to him, and you threw a bad pass, Dak, because you had way too
Yep.
much heat on
Yep.
it if you threw a better pass. But I don't trust Schoonmaker's going to catch it because you done already dropped
Exactly.
passes. You just dropped a touchdown the
Exactly.
week before. So why are we starting you when Ferguson went
I think-
crazy in that game? Why isn't Ferguson
They're
getting
trying to
that pass?
now. They're for sure trying to prove a point. Now I can say that could be Jerry and Steven.
Right, but that's what I'm
Jerry and
saying.
Steven on that, but it also could be Mike on that as well because everybody was saying that we picked Shoemaker that high because Mike was saying he needed him. He needed a tight end. That was been the rumors, right? It's never been 100% confirmed, but everybody is saying that was Mike's pick that high there. So it could also be an ego thing. It could be a Jerry and Steven thing, but it also could be an ego thing with Mike. So because I don't know, I'm not understanding the whole Shoemaker thing. It does not make sense. Like Shoemaker was not a high point seam guy in college. Like he blocked, which he's very good at, and he ran crossing routes. So why we think that he's going to be able to go up and high point these balls? You know who does do that? Jake Ferguson. And I believe even though that pass was high, right? That first pass was high.
Jake goes and gets
and see,
that.
that's what I'm
Jake-
talking about. Sometimes a quarterback needs your wide receivers and your pass catchers to compensate for maybe it wasn't the best pass. I've seen plenty of passes that Kirk Cousins had done to Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson got to jump 20 feet in the air. I've seen it. I've seen passes that Pat Mahomes has thrown to Tyreek Hill, where Tyreek Hill really had to just go out for it. But it's like that's what separates the good, great to the elite wide receivers. Is that you got to have guys that will go up and compensate. You can't, because when you don't do that, then your quarterback just looks worse than he looks worse. Because it's like now
CD Lamb in the Cardinals game when he threw
Go
that
up and
fade,
get
you should have
it.
went up and
It
got it
bounced
instead of
right
waiting
off
for
the
the
guy's
ref.
hand, off the guy's helmet, straight to your hand.
Dak would have. I
Dez
mean,
would have
Dez
got
would have
that.
got
Then
that
you look at
star.
CD again, right before Dak's second pick. Dak throws it to CD, hits CD right in the hand. CD drops it. CD has a tendency to do that when he really gets in his head and he's mad because I haven't gotten targeted this many times. Then he starts having a diva meltdown, and that's what I don't like. And even Schottenheimer spoke about that. He said, "Oh, I love when wide receivers they'll come to you and they'll be, I'm wide open, coach. I'm wide open." Then you show them the iPad, and you're like, "Where was you wide open at?" Like, let's be real. And they showed CD, Chris Collinsworth and all of them showed Isaiah Oliver locking CD up. Now that doesn't mean that we saw that there was times the CD was open. So I'm not saying he was just not open the whole time. That's a lie. But a lot of the time he was
Right.
locked up by their third corner. So that's also an issue. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of stuff.
Right. Well, I mean, so that's what I'm saying. So that I think there's a lot of pause right now because remember it was only a year ago before the season started the organization was questioning was CD a number one.
Yeah,
Remember, that was last year. People were all, and a lot
yeah,
of us were
we
questioning
sure
if he was a
were.
number one. Then he went on that tear. And we're like, okay,
Mm,
he proved it to us. But I was listening to Okoye and a lot of his tweets. And when I was looking at his tweets, he was asking, I'm not just asking questions. I'm not saying nothing. I'm just
yeah,
asking questions. Is CD a number one? Because you always got to
open.
scheme to get him open because when he's really effective is
Not.
when he's in the slot. When you put him on the outside,
Mm,
he does struggle. So a lot of times they got to scheme him open. So is he saying, is that a true number one? Because a true number one, you don't got to scheme to get open. You just get open. Like when we had Amari Cooper, you didn't have to
he just
scheme to
getting
get
open.
Amari Cooper open. Amari
Right.
Cooper got
Period.
open. You feel me? So that was a number one. And even right now, I can pull it up, but CD still plays more
Yes,
in the slot
that's
than the
true.
outside, and he's supposed to be your number one receiver, and he's still getting more work in the slot
Yep.
than the outside. And then, I mean, it's just a lot of things that we thought that okay, this might be different. It's
Yep.
really not because when I see Michael Gallup, I thought, let's see, Michael Gallup, he's a year removed. Michael Gallup is a whole
He's a
shell of
super shell
himself.
of himself.
And
Because I remember that play. I'm
and
like,
it's
Michael Gallup used to impress. Y'all don't remember in 2020? Was that 2020? Yeah. Now 2020 when we opened up the season playing the Rams and Michael Gallup burned Jalen Ramsey off the line. Impressed.
oh yes, yes, he was killing
I
them
was
that
like,
game. We were
Michael
like, that's what
Gallup
we talk about.
used to be able to, like, if you press Michael Gallup, he could get open. Now he can't get no separation. You're getting, some balls are not great, but it's like Gallup used to be able to go up and get those balls, but you're not going up and getting them. But it's like some games, like in the Cards game, Michael Gallup was going off, but it's like it's too inconsistent now. It's one game that you look like you're returning back, and then you get completely erased versus the 49ers. And when it comes to CD, I don't know. You see, we thought once CD went on that tear and he had all those consecutive 100-yard games, and I think he either tied the playmaker or he beat the playmaker in season with a 100-yard games. We were like, okay, for sure, CD's number one for sure, for sure. But then you look at this year, it's like CD, if we're constantly, like consistently, not saying this is not saying CD never gets open, right? That's not what I'm saying. But
Right,
for the
right,
for the
right, right,
most
right.
part, bro, like if we have to just consistently scheme you open, if you just can't get open on simple stuff like simple slants, go nine routes, drags, crossers, like you can't just use your God-given ability to get open. You have to be schemed open, CD. Then that does make us question, like, are you truly in the realm of Stephon Diggs, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill? I don't know. I don't know. Like CD to me is a question mark, bro. I don't know. I thought for sure, yes, undoubtedly wide receiver one, but then I see him this year, and I'm like, I don't know.
And that's the thing. There's a tweet right here from McCoy. He says, "Question: If you can't beat a number one or number two corner, are you a number one receiver? If it's mandatory that you hide you in the scheme to scheme you get you open, are you a number one receiver?" defenses don't have to allocate extra pressure, extra resources to your area to ensure they stop you or slow you down, are
Yeah.
you a number one? I mean, these are valid questions, and it's nothing about hate or anything like that, but these are valid questions that come up because you never had that doubt. And as much as we hate or Richard Sherman may get
Yeah.
on your nerves, right? He he did
He
play the
did.
game and
He
he was
did.
good. And Richard will tell it. He might get you mad, but he will tell it. And when he came out, he said two things that he said about the team that I have to agree with. And I ain't gonna lie, Richard Sherman does get on my nerves, okay, because he
Yeah.
hates the
Yeah.
Cowboys. So Richard Sherman on my nerves. He did say two things that stuck
Yeah.
out in my brain. One, what he said about Micah. He said, Micah, he said, you don't know this a rivalry. Now it's personal. They just came in there and smacked you in the mouth 2 times. Now you're gonna talk about it's personal. I don't believe you. If it was personal, you need to step up and say, It's me. I gotta do better. I gotta make this good. I'm the leader.
Yeah.
I gotta be
Yeah.
this." That's what he said. And I agreed with what Sherman was saying. And then what he said was CD Lamb. He said, CD Lamb, he said, Jamar Chase, is he Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill? He said, no, he ain't those guys. He's more like the Brandon Ayuk. He said, and those are really good receivers. He said, I'm not saying CD ain't no bad receivers. He said the second tier receivers I named are really good, but I don't think he's those guys. So my thing is a lot of things that we thought about the team, that we felt about the team in the beginning, as soon as we play some teams that want to smack us in the mouth, those things that we thought of our players doesn't
Yep.
seem as so. So that's what frustrates me because you're wanting to think that this team has changed and it has made something, it's a different squad and it's not what we've been seeing year in and year out. But as soon as we get adversity star, as soon as we get smacked in the mouth, those old things that you thought were gone
Start
or went
creeping
away
back
from your
up.
team are still
Yeah.
sitting right there. So did we really
Yeah. And I
change?
think, that's what the freaking question mark is. Like with CD, we know he can completely take over games. But when you look at how my offense is and how Kellen's offense is, obviously there were also some plays where CD did burn guys off the line. He's getting open, right? But then with CD, it's like the thing that has suffered with him, and that's why it's like, can we consistently say you're number one CD? Is because it's not as consistent. And I get, okay, well, he needs the targets to be able to match Justin Jefferson, a Tyreek Hill, a Stephon Diggs. And I agree. Like, obviously, if I don't get the targets, I can't obviously be on par with them number wise. But we also have to. And one thing I will say though, like CD was never really a what's it called, like a elite route runner, I guess you would say. And I think CD's route running has improved. But when you think about,
And he don't
and he
got that
doesn't have
speed like
speed
that.
like that. So that's where CD is kind of behind these guys. He's kind of behind the Jamar Chase, behind the Devontae Adams, behind a Justin Jefferson, even a Cooper Kupp, because Cooper Kupp, he plays primarily inside, but that, I mean, yeah, he's almost damn near uncoverable. Like,
he has elite quickness. He
elite,
has
like
elite
elite quick
quickness
areas,
though.
and that's
You feel
something
me?
like we know CD has the yak ability, he has the moves, he has that, but when it comes to just pure, I'm about to set you up and get wide open, like we don't really see that much from his game. That's why I think they said you have to scheme CD open. You have to give him some plays where he can use his yak ability and get him in space. Because if you're just gonna sit there and ask CD, hey, go against press coverage all game, it's gonna be real hard for him to get open. And I think that's what we saw on Sunday. Like if you just ask him, just beat your man in press coverage, CD, because Brian Schottenheimer said it. He said, we did not expect them to have the success in man that they did. That means like Mike McCarthy and them were thinking like, oh, y'all want to, they called a lot of slants. They're like, oh, y'all want to press our corners? We're going to call this slant. That's like a quick way. Slants, drags, comeback routes. That's how you beat man coverage. But the wide receivers weren't really getting open. Like they had the corners on their back the whole game. So it's just like I think we gotta look in the mirror and it's like Mike, y'all gotta do more. Y'all gotta y'all if we gotta scheme our guys open, we just gotta do that. Now, one guy that I think that we're doing a great disservice to, and I think that he
Jalen
will,
Tolbert.
yep, and I think who would be able to beat man coverage like that slant that Michael Gallup dropped and then Fred Warner got the
Yep.
interception. Jalen Tolbert catches that. Check Jalen Tolbert's stats. He's catching every single ball that comes to him, and it doesn't matter if Dak or Cooper Rush is throwing it to him.
And remember, also, Michael Gallup is not like Michael Gallup hasn't had a problem of the dropsies. Remember his second year, I believe it was 2019.
Yep,
He had like
it
11
was
to
real
12
bad.
drops,
Yeah,
11 to
it was
12
real
drops
bad.
that year. So it's not like we haven't seen this before. I'm on record, and I'm not hating on you, Michael Gallup, but I've been on record saying that when that contract came up, not to pay him and redraft another receiver. They paid him that money. I said, don't do it because you don't pay a second receiver like that,
Yep,
especially when he came off an injury, especially
yeah,
when he's already had nothing but leg injuries. Michael Gallup has
correct.
had nothing but leg injuries, and it zapped his athletic ability. That athletic ability that you
It's
spoke about that
gone.
we saw in 2020, it's not there any
It's not
longer.
there anymore.
We can't. I mean, and you can be an athlete. I played the sport. I played the
Yeah,
game, and you can still be athletic, but you won't be athletic as you used to. Like at my age, I'm still athletic, but I
right,
ain't nothing athletic like I used to be in before. So there's
right.
a difference, and those injuries have zapped it. And you're 100% right.
It's just, yep,
We talked about this earlier, Star. You had mentioned it. I believe I mentioned it even in training camp that I said Jalen Tolbert should get number 3. He should eat into Michael Gallup's. I said,
yep,
and I said also said that after this year, if they use Jalen Tolbert, they'll start thinking about releasing Michael Gallup, and because you
yep,
could draft another receiver, and then your guy will be Tolbert. Because right
yep.
now, Michael Gallup is. I know he had a good game. I know he had a good game the other game, but it just seems like it's not consistent with him. And Tolbert needs to get some wreck out here.
Yeah,
He needs to get some wreck. We got to see because you had all these glowing reviews about him, and now you're not even seeing him.
and
That's
that's
not
a high
good.
round pick. That's our second round pick. And I guarantee you, if we give Jalen Tolbert a real chance, I think he won't give that spot back up to Michael Gallup. I
Yeah.
think he's ready to go now. We saw the plays he was making preseason. You've seen the plays that he's made in season. He's ready to go. And I think that he will probably be the most reliable target that Dak will have outside of Jake Ferguson because this is a kid that's hungry, that's gritty. He's not the diva that CD is. He wants to make his mark on the NFL. So literally, he just knows whenever the ball comes to you, catch the freaking ball. And I think when Dak knows I can go to you and you're gonna keep catching the ball, Dak gonna keep going to you because he knows he can rely on you. The reason why Fergie has led the team multiple times this year in targets is because Fergie is going up and getting the ball. He's getting open. I mean, 7 for 7 for 77 yards. I mean, what else can you say about that? I mean, you could when we saw Fergie put Fred Warner on skates and man coverage, that was a matchup we should have exploited. So that's also an issue I have with Mike because it's like, Mike, what happened to you've been an offensive coordinator, Mike, in this league. You've coached greats in this league. You know about matchups and setting guys up. So why weren't we seeing that on a consistent basis versus the 49ers? You had your offensive line. I just don't know. I don't know, but I think the coaches need to also have that talk about we should probably take away some of Michael Gallup's reps and give it to Jalen Tolbert because I think Jalen Tolbert's ready, and he did the work all off season to be ready to go. So that's just my opinion on it.
Yeah.
But
I totally agree, man. I totally agree, and I feel exactly what you're saying. Like I said, man,
yeah,
this is and when I talk about this Chargers game, I think the Cowboys will win it in my opinion because this is the Cowboys way.
yeah,
The Cowboys will bounce back because we
wait,
get smacked in the mouth, and then when everybody's like, "Oh yeah, now they're gonna really get
yeah,
it," then we come out of nowhere and we surprise people, and then we're back. okay, Cowboys, do it again. You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
just like the inconsistency of this team. Yes, we win games, but it's just like we got to win the big games. We got to win them tough
Yep.
games. We always seem to beat up on teams that we know we can
Yep.
beat. You feel
Yep.
me? The teams we know we can
Yep.
beat, we whoop
Yep.
them. The teams that like a Vikings or anything, we can beat
Yep.
them. But when we get dog teams or we get teams that are saying no matter what we're doing, we're going to be physical and we're going to stay like this all game. It seems to just show up in an ugly way in
It
Dallas.
does.
And I mean, that's just my frustrating part of
Yep.
it. And I wish it would stop. But I feel like it still comes from the top and it just trickles down to your
Yep.
players. And I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But as we get ready to kind of close here today, as they say, put a bow on it. What's your kind of thoughts of this Charger game and what do you kind of think what happens?
What I think is, I do think we're gonna win this game. Unless it's part of the NFL script that we lose to back to back. But other than that, I mean, I think defensively, we definitely have the personnel here to stop these guys. It's all about, are we going to show up to play? I like my matchup between Gilmore and likely Johnson, because Johnson is not really like an athletic guy. He's a, ex wide receiver, deep ball type of guy. So I definitely think Gilmore can handle him. It's just the shifty guys that he struggles with. I think Bland would be a good matchup I would put Bland on Allen.
Mm-hmm.
And but then that also brings, okay, but what about Jay Lou? So but it
Right.
feels like Jay Lou would probably be a better matchup. I don't think Jay Lou on Allen is gonna be a great matchup. So they really
Neither do I.
I don't think
Neither
that's
do
gonna be a
I.
great
I
matchup.
don't like that at all.
So they're really
That's
gonna have to
bad
figure
business.
that out. I would probably, if I'm playing the matchup game, I'm moving Bland inside to Keenan Allen, and I'm moving J. Lou to follow this Palmer guy. Or if you just don't want J. Lou out there because of maybe size, I don't know how tall Palmer is, then I don't know what you do here. You're kind of in a predicament here. Because I know for one, I just don't want. I mean, I'd rather Gilmore on Keenan Allen, because I mean they're both. Gilmore's like 34, Keenan's like 32,
Yeah,
33.
and
Both old guys.
he's older and he don't have the speed. That's what I would agree with you saying. Put Gilly on him because he don't have the speed, but he do got that daggone route run ability. But I think
He's
Gilly is such a smart player; he can match with him. But I agree with you. You got
right.
to start putting Bland on number one guys and start moving Gilly to number two guys
Gillis at
because
number two.
he doesn't have the speed to handle these dudes no matter.
Yeah,
And
he
they're
doesn't.
going to expose him, and these teams know it. That's why they're attacking him now.
They're attacking him. They're trying to expose, and you're exactly right. And every single time it's like that speed. He does not have it, but he's still a high IQ corner. So I definitely think if Gilmore or Blaine needs to be on Allen. You let J. Lou follow Palmer. I don't like him versus Johnson because Johnson is a giant, so I don't think that's a good matchup either to have J. Lou, because if Kellen know I could just throw it to Johnson, he gonna be
Mm,
catching the ball on J. Lou head. He will do that too. Like Kellen's going to call this game to prove a point and to score a lot of points. Obviously, one thing I think is the reason why they're going to lose is because of Kellen's stubbornness. Kellen don't like to run. He don't like, and we know that about him.
36% of the time right now.
He does not like to run the ball at all, and that is perfect for our defense because we know we can rush the passer. We're getting killed by teams because we're not stopping the run on first and second down, and we're not able to pass rush like we want to do. But Kellen's going to play right into, unless he's just somehow wisened up and he's really going to flip on a switch in this game and run the ball. Kellen's going to try to light the scoreboard up, and the only way to do that is have to throw Justin Herbert's arm off. I don't think Kellen cares anything. They said it. The reason why the Chargers defense looks bad, why? Is because Okoye said that today. The defense is on the field, just like our defense was. They're constantly on the field because Kellen doesn't care anything about time of possession, controlling the clock, resting the defense. He doesn't care about that at all. He wants to score points, and that's what he's going to do. And I think whenever you try to just purely be a passing team against us, we look great. So I think, that's the reason why that's going to be the Chargers' downfall. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised in this game we limit them under their normal. They score minimum 24. I wouldn't be surprised if we limit them 14, 17 points just because of how Kellen is. Now, if they
Mm-hmm.
run the ball, that may be a little bit of a different story, but hopefully we can get our new linebacker in there just for a couple of reps because he seems to be a dog. So, but if we run the ball, it's going to be a little growing pains game for Damone Clark because he's going to be like the lead guy. Hopefully, we move Micah off the line and let him play a little bit of linebacker. But we'll really have to see, what Dan Quinn does. But I really do hope that with this LVE injury, we do let Micah get more linebacker snaps. I think it's just a disservice to him. And he can still be a pass rusher on third down, but I
Mm-hmm.
think he's our
It,
most,
it worked
yeah.
his first year. It worked his
Yeah,
first year.
it worked great his first year. Like that's what he was a linebacker in Penn State. Like we need that speed. We need a guy that can be able to fly around. Like the lineman can't get to Micah because he's just too fast. He's too fast. Like they're not going to get their hands on him. So I think it would be great to let Micah play some linebacker. I think for the rest of the season, bro. Like if we look, it's too easy for teams to game plan against Micah on that edge all game. It's just too easy. Like I said it. Offensive coordinators are just having their way with Micah there on that edge. I saw Micah this game get handled by Kyle Juszczyk. I mean, I think it's because Micah's he's gained weight, but he's still a linebacker. He's not a prototypical edge guy. And Dan Quinn using him like that is just causing him erase from game plans, and we just can't have that. So that's my opinion on our defense versus their offense.
Yeah, I feel you. No, this question from Code 17 Big Game. Do you think the problem? Do you think Dak the problem? They will keep talking about receivers can't separate under McCarthy, but it was the same thing under Garrett. I mean, I don't think it was all a Dak thing. I think definitely he has something to do with it. I think he needs to see the field better. I mean, I feel like that's been a problem with him for a while. Like guys are open, but he still misses big throws, or he won't take the throw once he starts getting in his head. Like I don't want to make a mistake, so he won't do it. So I think
Yep,
that might be the issue, in my opinion. I think the receivers are getting open. So sometimes he holds it too much because he wants to make the right play, doesn't want to make the mistake. So he holds it a little bit too longer and will go with the safer play, in my opinion, instead of trying to, you know, go all out. Like if he went when he went deep for Michael Gallup, I felt like you weren't gonna make that play. You just threw it. You weren't gonna make that play anyway. So sometimes I feel like he does that. But
yep,
at the end of the day, at the way I'm gonna put a bow on this star is
yep,
it's about toughness. We can
yep,
have all the scheme we want. We can do playbook, play calling, all we want. But every time we play a team that says we're going to be out physical than you, we're going to be tougher than you, we seem to fold.
we see the.
And that's my problem. That's
I
my
agree.
biggest problem.
I
That's
agree.
my biggest problem. It hasn't went away. I thought it was different, just like you said. McCarthy's building the culture. Pittsburgh guy. It looks like we're finally tougher with this. We ain't
Yeah.
playing no games. Micah says after week one, this is a special defense. This could be even the most special thing I've been around, and then smacked in the mouth.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear that noise, dog. Y'all just the same way. So y'all gotta. I don't know. I thought you either have toughness or you don't. That's what I thought. You either got toughness or you don't.
No, you
I don't.
don't. Yep.
I
I
just feel
say
like
that. Yep.
I
I
feel
think
like
that's it.
you can't manufacture it. You either got it
You
or you
either got it
don't.
or you don't.
I coached youth football, and I used to tell the kids, man, you either tough or you ain't. And you don't gotta front it to me. We can put you in a different position where to play, but don't try to front it because the real tough ones gonna see it on the field and they're gonna smell it. And once they see that you ain't, they're gonna attack you, and they're
Yep.
gonna attack you every single play, and that's what's gonna happen. And I feel like once they just see that, oh man, these dudes ain't all that. Let's really go after
Let's
them.
bully them.
That's what it just. That's this bully them. That's what
That's it.
That's what it seems. I'm
Yep.
sorry. That's what it seems to
That's
me. And until we get past that, these ugly things that we talk about, Star, are
gonna
gonna
keep
reoccur
they're gonna keep
every time.
happening. And I agree with that. It's all about at some point you gotta have just like that clip, shout out to Boss Cowboy plays by the playmaker. At some point, you just gotta get down and dirty. And you got to have the players that can do it. I can only scheme so much. I can only scheme and game plan so much. At some point, the players have to win. At some point, you have to just use your God given ability to
and win the damn
win
game.
and win the damn game. And if there's one thing you want to talk about a knack on Dak Prescott, one thing that I think that this scheme is making him too robotic. Last year, it wasn't that he was too robotic. He was slinging that damn ball, but it was the option route. But I think even before then, there was a mindset, and the last time we've seen Dak really do it was in 2018 when we was in the playoffs. Sometimes that you have to go back to that mentality that you had where you were like, listen, I gotta win this game. And I'm gonna win this game whatever means necessary. If I gotta if I gotta do a backflip into the end zone to win this game, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. And that's the mentality that I wish, because he's way better of a passer than he was in 2018. But if Dak can go back to that type of if they can just let Dak play free like he's used to play, then you will see that. But if Jerry and them, I don't know if it's coming from the front office or what, or continue. But even I talked to my brother about that. He's like, I don't give a damn what Jerry and them is saying. Dak, you have to make the decision.
You the quarterback.
Because
F
you the
Jerry? What
only
you
one.
gonna do?
Right.
Fire you? Bench you? What's he gonna do?
Exactly.
They ain't
Jerry
gonna do
can't
that.
do nothing.
They ain't gonna bench you.
If you win, beat the 49ers, because you like, I don't give a hell. I'm about
Yeah, I
to
don't give a
run.
hell. I'm calling this play. Damn it.
I'm about to
That play ain't
shove this
working. I'm
nigga
calling
out the
this.
way. Excuse my language, but I'm about to shove this guy out the way, and I'm about to get this first down. Do it, Dak. You gotta develop. Forget Dak. Listen to his coach and authority too much, and listening to authority is good, but sometimes you have to say, listen. At the end of the day, they're gonna blame me. If I figure this pass game ain't working, my receiver's not open. If I see that there's an opportunity for me to extend this play, I've got to do it. Because there's even been plays where it's like,
He won't run.
that's what I'm saying. But we know Dak can run. He did it in the
I know.
Cardinals game, but he probably got yelled at. So maybe that's why he didn't run the 49ers game. Because in that
Yeah, I
Cardinals
don't know.
game, where he scrambled for like 20 yards and he
Right.
juked the guy out.
I was like, man, can you please do
Can
that
you do
more?
that more, Dak? Because guarantee you, defenders are still scared of Dak. Dak is a tank. Like, he's not Josh Allen size tank, but Dak is a tank, and don't no cornerback want to have Dak Prescott running at them. Like, but he's got to have the mentality to do it. And I believe in that 49ers game, he should have put everything on the line. But he didn't. He had a meltdown. It's what it is. But hopefully, if we face them again, we don't have it. We have two more real battle tested matchups. It's not till the end of the season, but we have to play the Buffalo Bills, and we got to play the Miami Dolphins. Those are two high battle tested offenses and defenses. So if we can,
don't forget them Lions.
and we got to play
and Seattle.
Lions, and we got to play Seattle. So we've got 4 games that's really that's really gonna push us. So we have some games. We even though it seemed like it was the end of the world, we lost with the 49ers. We still have tough teams to play, and we can't mess around. Them 4 teams that we named, you don't want to mess around with those teams because you can easily lose those games. So we definitely got to play tough. And
don't play around Monday. Don't play around
Monday either.
Because every game shit always been like that. But every game is a playoff game from here on out. Like, you're 3-2. You've already lost 2 NFC games.
Yeah. You're playing with your seed in real.
You're a wild card team right now. Right now. You've lost 2 NFC games. I said that Cardinals game was going to come back to haunt you. Now you got that San Francisco game. That's already going to show me that you're going to be a wild card. And just me, I just feel it. We're going to be a wild card. We're coming in as a wild card. You can still win 10 games or 11 games, but I feel like we're going to be a wild card. Now, that's me. I don't care what all y'all think. Y'all think what y'all want. I feel like we're a wild card team now, and that's the way it is.
Yeah.
We can still win 10, 11 games, but that's the way I feel.
Yep.
But because those type of losses against the Cardinals come back and haunt you when you're talking about seeding and things like that. So The good thing about it is that we play the Chargers and they're an AFC team, so this is not another NFC team.
Yep.
But don't come in there playing around because Kellen Moore is taking this personal. He would love nothing better than to show up the Cowboys to
Nothing
let them
better.
know y'all made a mistake. He would love
Nothing
nothing better.
better.
We should
Nothing
all
better.
know that he's going to throw the kitchen sink at us. He may run a lot in this game just to be like, oh, you thought I was going to pass all game? I'm going to run on you all game. Like, y'all be ready.
Be ready
Be
for
ready.
anything. Be
Be
ready for
ready for
anything.
anything, Dallas, because remember, when teams want to decide they want to run on us, they do.
Yep.
So, and it's been proven.
And
So don't
it's
go in
been
there
like that for years. It's been like that.
years. It's been like this for years. And just because Kellen's throwing 66% of the pass plays on pass and 36 run, don't mean he's gonna do it in this game. He may do it just to do it, create a point and make a point, be like, yeah, that's right. I told y'all I ain't gotta throw the ball all the time. I'm gonna just run on y'all. So come with the Cowboys. That's all I'm gonna say. Come with it. Come with your A game. We shouldn't have to tell you this. Y'all been talking in the media. J. Ron Kirsch, y'all been talking in the media. If y'all talking this media and y'all get whooped
Whooped
again,
again.
don't you say a word. Don't
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 say
don't
a
don't
word.
don't you say a word because to me it's that fake toughness and I
Yeah,
don't want to hear
it
it.
is
Feel
for
me?
sure.
But hey, I appreciate you, Star. It was good to have us back on track
Yep.
after 2 weeks. We had a great show today. Great talk. Good real talk. Good real talk.
Yep.
And I loved hearing that. Do you got any final last words before we head off here?
No, I would just encourage y'all, please, like we said, like I said at the beginning, please like the videos. A lot of people in
Yes.
here,
Yes. Yes.
like the video, share the video, subscribe. Looks like I finally reached 100 subscribers. So woo,
Yes.
that's yay for
Yes,
me.
and make sure she knows her stuff, man. She know her stuff. Get on over there, the Stargazer Show podcast. Let them know all that. Matter of fact, let me pull the handle up. Let me
Yeah,
close this out.
y'all follow me.
There's the handle. Yep,
Yeah,
there's the
Stargazer
handle right there.
Sports. That's what I am on YouTube. So please follow me on YouTube, Stargazer Sports. Follow me on Instagram, which is Stargazer_sports. I'm on Twitter, which is at the Stargazer, but instead of a E in Gazer, it's a 3 and it's 2 R's at the end. I'm on Facebook as well as Stargazer Sports Media, and I'm on TikTok as well at stargazer.sports. So please follow me on all my social medias and YouTube, guys. I appreciate y'all rocking with us tonight, and hopefully we'll be back with y'all next week.
Yes, ma'am, man. I appreciate y'all. My B-Day is Sunday. I'm giving selfish plugs until it's over. I usually don't do that, but I'm giving selfish plugs this time. The Cash App is right there. You see Stargazer's Cash App right there
Oh
at the
yeah.
very bottom. My Cash App right there is the big BGJ. It's right there.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, hey, after the birthday's over, you won't even be hearing me saying nothing. But guess what? I'm saying it. So if you want to Cash App your boy or your girl, they there at the bottom. Holler at us. We ain't gonna be mad. We ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna be turning the big 5-1. Shout out to the God. You know what I'm saying? Because hey, anytime you hitting over 50 and every birthday after 50, well, every birthday after 40,
Yep.
but every birthday after 50 is a damn good birthday.
Yep.
So I gotta be happy. So shout out to the God and thank you. But we appreciate y'all. We thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for everybody who was in the show. It was in the comments, great comments the whole way through. Really loved it. Make sure you're back here next week. So we're talking about a victory and talking about hopefully some stuff is rectified. And we ain't on here hollering and screaming and
Hopefully.
yelling. Because I know if we lose, you might get a rant. Y'all know my rants are classic. You might get a rant if we lose against these Chargers.
Yeah,
So you definitely gonna want to be on that one. So
for sure.
appreciate all y'all. We love y'all, and we'll be talking to y'all soon. This is Big Game James, Miss Stargazer, with the Big Star Podcast, and we out.
Peace.
Peace.